What is going on, New York Giant fans? Welcome back to another video. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you know when a live stream pops or a video drops. Appreciate y'all coming back. Share this out. Do all the good stuff. We're almost at 1,900 subscribers. We want to get to 2,000, but we got to get to 1,900 first. So definitely hit the subscribe button, share out. Do all of the good stuff as mentioned beforehand. We have a big live stream on Saturday with Diggy, 546, Big Dash Nose, and Christiana Tan talking about the Giants offseason, breaking down some of the stuff that has happened recently and some of the stuff that has been rumored for a while, all that good stuff. Again, join us on Saturday. With that being said, I want to clarify the name of the video, and it's probably going to look like something, in the case of one of these three players will be drafted by the New York Giants. And I'm not talking second round, third round, fourth round, fifth round, sixth round, seventh round. I'm talking in the first round because for most people, that's the most important round, the round that matters. And that's where the Giants may decide their future, if you think about it, right? They could go wide receiver and stick with Daniel Jones. They could go with quarterback. They could take quarterback later on. There's a lot of things that could happen. So I've picked out three players based on rumors, based on a lot of different things, team fit too. Three players that the New York Giants, one of these guys will end up with the New York Giants, whether it's 6 overall, trade back, trade down, trade up, whatever the case may be. One of these three guys will be a New York Giant when they come out of round one on that first draft day. So number one is J.J. McCarthy. Now, the rumors have picked up steam with J.J. McCarthy. A lot of different things. It seems like everyone likes him a little bit more now. I've had my eyes on McCarthy for about a year or two, but really started to watch the film as recently, and out of the guys that we're talking about today, he's the only one I've watched fully, but obviously I know of the next guy. I know of the guy after that. But why J.J. McCarthy? There are a lot of teams that need quarterbacks in this draft. The Vikings, the top three teams, the Seahawks possibly, the Broncos, the Raiders. There's a lot of teams that need quarterback, including the Giants. Now, you look at the top three teams, and it's the Bears, the Commanders, and the New England Patriots. All of those teams need quarterbacks. Now, again, Justin Fields, he may get traded. There's a lot of stuff that could happen with the top three. It only takes one I would say projected pick to fuck up the entire draft. The Bears could take Joe Alt for all we know. But, again, projected, those three, Daniels, May, and Caleb Williams, in no specific order, could go most likely because, again, those teams need quarterbacks over the incumbent. With that being said, a lot of people, including myself, see it as very unlikely that the New York Giants will get up there, whether it's down to teams that are wanting or not wanting to trade out, and two, that being the Giants may not want to go to the asking price of those teams. Now, they could, but I just view it as very unlikely. I think J.J. McCarthy needs some retooling in certain areas. I did a scouting report on him. Strengths and weaknesses, arm strength, anticipation, tight window throws, off script plays, mobility upside, weakness. He does have trouble with some routes. There's like a chart out there, like on the 9 route, he's very inaccurate, stuff like that. I think his pocket presence needs a little work. Not throwing plays away, again, and then the quote-unquote asked not to do much at Michigan because Blake Corum was the main focus of the offense, all these different things. But either way, he needs some retooling. So likely he would not start day one for the Giants, which would give them an excuse for Daniel Jones to start week 1 through whatever. If the Giants are in a lost season or if they're like a 5-4 mark, they switch to McCarthy and then they give the keys to him for the next said how many years. And again, like I talked about before, the combine talks have kind of raised his draft stock despite him in the throwing drills not really looking too good. The next guy I'm going to talk about is not a quarterback, but he is a wide receiver. That is Malik Nabers. Now, MHJ is probably going to go to the Cardinals. If he falls to the Chargers, he will go there, but I see it as very unlikely because how can you name any of the Cardinals receivers outside of Marquise Brown, who's a free agent? Exactly. But this kind of goes back to a lot of different things. I really have 3 reasons for each of these guys. The Giants likely to stay at 6. If they don't want McCarthy, or if they're going to trade back in to the first round and get McCarthy and mortgage some future picks, whether it be future in this year's draft or future in next year's draft. That's its own separate entity, but the Giants, again, aligned with staying at 6, need a number 1 threat. We've been talking about this pretty much since Odell Beckham Jr. left, and Neighbors is not Marvin Harrison Jr., and there's also debates of whether Odunze is better, Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman is another guy. This is a wide receiver stacked class, and the Giants could take a wide receiver in round 2, round 3, whatever they do or want to do in that case, but they need a number 1 threat. Hyatt is not that, let's be honest. Darius Slayton for sure isn't that, and Wan'Dale Robinson's a slot receiver. So, again, they need to go out there and get whoever's going to be quarterback, Daniel Jones, McCarthy, this guy, that guy. They need to get that quarterback a number 1 threat. And, again, kind of to talk about what I brought up earlier a little bit with McCarthy and also with Neighbors is you could get a quarterback later, whether you trade back in or the second round, there may be a quarterback or two still there, and also a last chance to revive Daniel Jones and maybe make a playoff run. I've talked about this before to where the New York Giants, if they keep Daniel Jones and don't take a quarterback that's serious in terms of a threat to Daniel Jones' job, they have to go for a playoff run, so you have to stack the roster with good O-linemen and also good targets, wide receiver, tight end, whatever. And Neighbors would kind of add on to that. Number 3, this guy has been causing a lot of controversy in terms of the Giants fan base. Is he the right quarterback to take? Blah, 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 blah. And again, I know some scenarios are unlikely in terms of trade-ups, whatever. We'll talk about it. Drake May. I know a lot of people, again, don't like him. Some people, you either love him or you hate him. Like, that's just the way everyone feels about Drake May. Again, I haven't watched film on him. Gonna do that very shortly. But nonetheless, number 1 trade-up scenario. It seems as though, obviously, Caleb Williams is out of the picture for the New York Giants. I really don't see the Commanders possibly taking him because I feel like that would be doubling down. And I'm not saying he's Sam Howell, but the UNC type narrative. Oh, he's not good because he goes to UNC school and a basketball school and all this other stuff. Like, they may not go back on that narrative, or they may stick to that narrative and go draft Jaden Daniels. But nonetheless, the Giants went to a lot of games, and they do this for scout reasons, right? You know, they went to Michigan games, they went to USC games. They went to a lot of games where Drake May was the quarterback, UNC. And if you're watching him like a hawk, like Joe Schoen was, or the Giants front office, as suspected to be, you go up and get your guy. Whatever the package takes, whatever it costs, a first rounder, a second rounder, this, that, the other thing, a ready player for the NFL, like a starter on another team that's currently on your team, you go up and get that guy, and you don't worry about the repercussions because guess what? There's one of two things. Number 1, he saves your ass, and he develops into a top quarterback in this league and gets you to a couple of Super Bowls and playoff runs, or you're fired, and you don't have to worry about the damages afterward. You're just out of a job. So it's one or two, and that's basically the entire situation here with the New York Giants with Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. And also, again, Joe Schoen watching him like a hawk, USC games, the Michigan games that he went to, and also, once again, the UNC games he went to. But a lot of people inside the building think, hey, Drake May looks to be that guy if he's there at 6 or if we want to trade up. And also, a lot of people have been patting him down, and I don't mean like patting him down, but they have been like talking him down in terms of like, hey, McCarthy's better than him. Hey, Jaden Daniels is better than him. If that's true and teams believe it, which is possible, by the way, because there's a lot of teams, and I think Daniel Jeremiah said this. He said, look, a lot of NFL teams have higher belief in J.J. McCarthy than the media does. So the media could say, hey, listen, McCarthy's going to be like, a mid-teens pick, a second-round pick. Meanwhile, a team could jump up into the top 5 and pick McCarthy, which could fall into the Giants' favor because, hey, one of these quarterbacks like Jaden Daniels or Drake May falls. And again, that's teams believing smoke screens, that's teams throwing out smoke screens and all that sort of stuff. So those 3 guys, or at least one of these 3, I expect to be a New York Giant after round 1 of the draft. J.J. McCarthy, Malik Neighbors, and Drake May. Of course, opinions could change, but right now I think that's the way it's going to go. One of those three will be a New York Giant after round 1 of the draft. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Will the Giants draft any of these guys? Who do you want the Giants to draft in the first round? Appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon.